If you've been enjoying Infinite Lagrange, you've probably noticed that there are plenty of different ships to choose from, often each with sub-variants. So how do you know which is best? Well, in this video, which is kindly sponsored by the team over at Infinite Lagrange, I'll share my thoughts with you, which you might find helpful. If you're new here, I'm Forrester, and my channel is all about giving you useful or interesting content around games, including most recently Infinite Lagrange. If you're new to the channel, be sure to take a look around and perhaps consider subscribing. That helps you to be notified of future videos as they go live and helps me to grow the audience. So, right before I share with you my opinion on the best ships out there, it's important to set a couple of qualifiers. Firstly, unlocking ship designs in Infinite Lagrange often takes a little time, and accordingly, often the best ship is very simply the one you have unlocked. Part of the game is about how you manage the resources you have at your disposal, in particular how you build a fleet out of the designs you have available. Secondly, there's a rock, paper, scissors style of combat that goes on, so whilst I share thoughts on some of the most useful ships, they all have strategies to counter them, which can be capitalised upon, particularly if you're in a union that fights collaboratively. And finally, this is my humble opinion based on my experience with the game. If you agree, disagree, or think I've missed something, please share your thoughts in the comments. Some might find the inclusion of the ST-59 on this list a little surprising. However, a fully upgraded ST-59 can be a force to reckon with. It has the cheapest command point cost of all of the battlecruisers at 28, and with points spent on upgrades, it can be fairly tanky. Most of all, it's the easiest of all of the battlecruisers to unlock, requiring only time rather than luck. It's also versatile, for example having the option to go to the front combat row. Whilst it is more reliant on investing upgrade points, the ST-59 has the potential to be a good, solid choice, especially where fleets have no other battlecruiser options. The winged Hussar destroyer is almost universally recognised as a really strong ship. Aside from the fact that it can be acquired reliably and relatively early through one of the 3 specific reward crates, it also comes in at a very cheap command point cost. And the anti-ship damage and siege damage absolutely lead the way for a destroyer. That makes the winged Hussar a mainstay of pretty much any competitive early game fleet, and competitive throughout the journey of your server. Another relatively easy to acquire ship, the CAS 066 cruiser, provides a mid-game tank to any fleet. As it's part of the progression path for all players, it is naturally unlocked through simply playing the game. Especially with some upgrade points, the strong defensive properties of this cruiser give it a place in this list, especially in the mid-game. What's more, the CAS 066 comes with a respectable anti-ship and siege damage performance, which is especially notable with the alpha damage it brings to the party. Being careful with pronunciation here, the Spear of Uranus, even the most recent balancing patch, remains a strong and tanky battlecruiser. Sadly, it's hard to get, requiring you to be fairly lucky with your loot drops. But if you do get it, the reasonable anti-ship and siege damage properties hold this ship up well in combat, all whilst being supported by the absolutely dominant tanking and defensive ability. If you're building a tank fleet, there's a good chance that this battlecruiser will be right at the front of it. And then there's the battlecruiser Constantine the Great. Often seen as the single most powerful ship in Infinite Lagrange, the pulse cannon and high alpha missiles combine to deliver a really strong DPS, including as stock. If you can get your hands on this ship, you've done well. As a random drop from crates, you really need RNG to work in your favour, but if it does, you've bagged one of the best damage dealers in the game. I'd love to know your thoughts on whether you agree with this list, or if you'd choose a different ship. Let me know in the comments. Thanks again to the team over at Infinite Lagrange for sponsoring this video, and if you'd like to see more Infinite Lagrange content, be sure to hit that like button so I know it's something you'd like to see more of. Otherwise, as always, thank you for watching.